another episode of Millionaires Are Made. The show can be a millionaire in all 6 aspects of health. That's grow in your mental, social health, spiritual health, intellectual health, financial health, and obviously your physical health. Today's episode is focusing on how to improve your physical health with fasting. All sorts of fasting out there. We're going to learn from some big fasters and possibly some anti-fasters. But if you have never seen Millionaires Are Made, this is the show built on the fundamental belief that every person you meet knows something you don't. You can learn something from everyone in this big, beautiful world. So we brought 3 awesome guests on who are going to teach you 3 awesome tips on how to improve your physical health to millionaire status on the topic of fasting. In the spirit of authenticity, we don't talk about tips or advice before the show starts, so I have no idea what they're about to say. We like to keep it real, no bias, no persuasion, just 3 awesome people sharing from their own life journey. So it's going to be exciting. Audience, if you are watching this show, which everyone should be, all 8 billion of you, some of you told me that they're all watching. Please, this is an engaging show. Comment, ask questions. We will ask them live and have our guests answer them. We'd love to hear from you as well. Just post it, comment it wherever. We check in everything. And we also want to give a big shout out to some of our followers. Yeehaw. Thank you so much for supporting us. On Facebook, Courtney Strugnell, thank you for being our fan. Instagram, Jen, therapist turned human design coach, you rock. TikTok, Michelle Sisk, and YouTube, Melissa St. Clair. Thank you all for being followers and helping support our show to grow. If you have something to share, which I know you do, a little tiny piece of advice, please sign up to be a guest. We'd love to have you. There's no requirements. If you've never been on a podcast, we will make it so simple and easy. You can come on, share your knowledge, and help the world grow. Links being dropped right now. And if you're struggling through something tough right now, like maybe the election didn't go your way, maybe you feel a little lost spiritually, maybe financially you're tough, let us know. We need topic ideas. We always want new topic ideas. We will do all the work to find 3 awesome guests that will give you 3 pieces of advice to help you get through the tough parts of life. And as I am always told, I have to do this. But if you like what we do, please send stars, share, subscribe, like, however it works on your social media. Please follow us. We definitely use that and need that. Thank you so much. And if you love how this show works, where we just find people and give out tons of advice, I also do one-on-one free growth consultations. That link's being dropped right now. Feel free to sign up and let's talk one-on-one and see if I can help you grow in any way. Whoo! Last but not least, this episode is sponsored by some awesome sponsors. First on, one of our guests, Samir. Samir is a certified health and nutrition coach specializing in the prevention and reversal of chronic diseases. If you have a chronic disease and you want a unique approach on how to reverse it, Samir's the guy to go. He's also going to drop some knowledge on this episode as a guest. He's currently pursuing his PhD in anthropology at the University of the Western Cape in South Africa. Check his link below. Go say hi. Our next sponsor is Rachel Greenwell. Super smart woman as well. Helps people own their worth, power, and potential, aligning their spiritual purpose to make a positive impact in the world. Super awesome. Our next sponsor is Jen Gray, who's the host of an awesome podcast called Be Genuine with Jen. Great name as well. Helps small businesses thrive as the agent with benefits. Connect with her today. And our final sponsor for this episode is El Granil, a neuroscience expert, super smart by the way, NLP and communication pro, who offers deep dives into brain function and personal transformation. Talking about the physicalness of your brain. An author, athlete, founder of True Speak, and certified in transformational meditation. Go check Elle out right now. She's amazing, and I love having her on the show. Oh, let's do this. Who's ready for our first guest? We're going to bring out Samir right now. Samir, who are
brother,
you?
How you doing, man? You and your folks should know who I am by now. I'm Samir Dasani. I'm a health and nutrition coach based in South Africa. Also deep into research. I help people heal themselves, mostly through diet, to be perfectly honest. Diet is 70-80% of it, but other things too, sun exposure, fasting, many other things. So I help people become the best version of themselves, especially health-wise. That's usually the first step.
And we've heard a lot from Samir, but now we're interested in another specific piece of advice, Samir. If I wanted to improve my physical health with fasting, what tiny piece of advice would you give me?
So most of us, especially people my age or older, so I'm sort of, I'm born in 76, so I'm sort of like the middle of Gen X or towards the tail end of Gen X. Most people my age or maybe a little bit older or younger, we got the advice to eat many, many times a day, eat 3, 4, 5 times a day. And what we know now from looking at all the research is that that's a terrible idea. So I would say, look, the easiest thing for most people to do, the easiest way to dip your toe into this world is to not worry too much about extended fasting. So for me, extended fasting is anything over 24 hours. I would say don't start with that to begin with. Just do what we call intermittent fasting or time restricted eating. Some people don't even call that fasting, but I do. So skip breakfast or skip dinner, whatever you think is going to work better for your lifestyle. Most of us, if you're a family person like me, you probably want to have dinner with your family. So maybe don't skip that for social reasons. But if you can skip dinner, the science tells us that that's actually better. But skip a
Oh,
meal, see
really?
how you do, and see how it goes.
So they always told us breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Do
Yeah,
you
that's
agree?
that's fucking bullshit. I think everyone knows. Everyone should know that by now. I mean, like, there's. Yeah, I think if you look in, I did look into the history of that, and it's totally the breakfast companies. It's like totally cereal companies. Like Kellogg's made this shit up in like the 1890s, and we all believe it. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
That's just good marketing. Kudos to them on the financial health side.
There
Um,
you go.
all right, so basically, if we're starting out with fasting, skip a meal, but just increase the number of hours per day that you're not eating. Right, so you sleep for 8 hours, maybe you eat before and wake up after. Now you're just trying to push that to 9, push it to
Yeah,
10. Okay,
you
what
could. I mean, listen. For the most people, this is not advice for people who are consider themselves to be underweight, and it's certainly not advice for people with eating disorders, which is a separate topic we can get to. But for most
Also,
people who
real
can,
quick disclaimer:
yeah,
this is not medical advice or legal
yeah,
advice. Keep going.
absolutely. But for most people who are sort of normal weight to, if you consider yourself slightly overweight, skipping a meal and not. So what you're saying is, okay, instead of having breakfast at 8, I have it at 9. I'm saying skip breakfast altogether. Just go to the lunch. So the
So
eight
push
hour
it back to like noon.
Yeah, go to an 8 hour eating window. So, this is called the 16/8 fat time restricted eating or time restricted fasting method. So between 12 p.m., you break your fast, 8 p.m., you start your fast again. So you don't eat after 8 o'clock, which is really important not to eat it, just before bed. Eating just before bed is a really, really, really bad idea. So that's a firm cutoff at 8 p.m. and then you start at 12 p.m. Now, during the fasting window, I'm pretty lax. Like if you want to have, say, some tea or coffee or whatever, or even some, well, water or fizzy water, like that's all fine. Club soda, stuff like this. Non-caloric drinks in general should be okay, although I would stay away from sweetened stuff. But tea,
Okay.
coffee without sugar, totally fine.
Okay. Interesting. All right. Next question. Where on your life journey did you learn this advice?
So yeah, don't be like me. Don't learn this shit the hard way. So I used to be, like I said, I was educated in the 80s and 90s. And as I was getting sicker, I said, well, what should I do to get myself healthy? I should get to the gym and maybe I should get to the tennis courts. I used to be on the tennis team when I was in high school. So I started playing tennis again when I moved here to South Africa, circa 2015, 2016. So about 8, 9 years ago. And I would go on Sunday mornings, I would have a big ass bowl of oatmeal, yeah? Porridge, whatever you call it, yeah? Oats with with some freaking soy milk and honey and I don't know what the hell was in that shit, right? So I would have that and I would get out to the courts, and that was at 8 o'clock. By 10 o'clock, I was so fucking hungry. I had to, like, if I had to either decline a match. Sometimes I had to forfeit a match because I just had to get home and have another fucking bowl of oats, right? So
Wow.
what was happening to me was I was on this roller coaster. The oats were spiking my blood. I shouldn't have been eating oats. That's a whole different story. I'm an advocate of keto carnivore diets these days, so I don't do the oats anymore. But what was happening then is I was spiking my blood sugar really high, and then it was coming down to my body was overcompensating. The insulin response was overcompensating, and I was getting hypo, and I was really feeling like shit. And I don't know if you've ever had this. Most people sort of my age will have had this at some point in their life. It's almost like a compulsion. You have to eat. You don't have a choice not to eat. You have to go out and find some sugar. Otherwise, you feel like shit, right? So that happened a couple times, and then that was around the same time as I started my PhD, or I started thinking about what my PhD was going to be. I spent some time in the medical library, started reading papers that were like 100 years old, And I was like, shit, man, we've known that this is a really bad idea for 100 years. We've known that fasting is a powerful therapeutic tool. I was just talking to one of your other guests about this. We've known that since about 300 BC. Like, so that's when doctors were first prescribing fasting as a tool as a medical tool, as a medical intervention, in addition to spiritual intervention and mental health intervention, etc. Right? So we've known this shit for a long time, but somehow we've forgotten it because in our world, the marketing of Kellogg's is more important than anything else. So, like I say, I figured this shit out the hard way. Don't be like me. Figure it out easy, not the hard way.
Awesome. Real quick, I just want to point out, I love that you went back to years old research, and that just reminded me of a physical trainer that we follow a lot of. In soccer, our knees suck, right? I've had surgeries on my knees, like we hate them. And there's a knees over toes guy that
Yeah.
kind of is starting to trend, at least in my soccer community. We all know about him now because we all have shit knees. And he is the same way. He's like, I went and I was like, why do my knees suck? And he's like, I ended up finding research from like the 50s or 60s or 70s, something like that. And he's like, and so I started checking into all that and wondering what happened with recent studies, and found like a big disconnect. So he just takes all that research from 70 years ago or whatever, and that's what he's promoting now. And so it's kind of interesting. You go back to like 100 years, 200 years, and it's like, where have we gone recently?
No, for sure. And what I'll say is one of the symptoms that cleared up when I started doing fasting more regularly was my knees. I was diagnosed with some like arthritis in my knees. And I can't remember, honestly, today, I cannot remember which knee was my bad knee because when I fixed my diet, when I used fasting as a tool, I don't know, my knees got better, right? I wasn't doing anything in the gym. I only started doing gym work much later, but my knees fixed just by fixing my diet and using fasting as an intervention.
I guess we're going to have you start talking to all our soccer team. I'll have to send them your way, Samir. All right, we're going to move on to our next guest. Thank you so much, Samir. Next up, we've got Dina. Dina,
Hey.
who are you?
Hi, Austin. Hi, Austin and friends. My name is Dina, and I'm a transformational coach and spiritual mentor. My experience. Do I go into my experience right now? I'm new to your show, so give me some grace.
However you want to answer, who are you? Who are you? Whatever you want to say.
I'm a wife of 33 years, a mom of 3 adult kids and 4 granddaughters. So I've had a lot of experience in life.
Awesome. All right. Well, let's get into the nitty gritty then. If I wanted to improve my physical health with fasting, what tiny piece of advice would you give me?
Well, it's interesting because Samir utilized my initial tip as well, and that would be to start small. Right? So coming up with another one would be, if you're going to start fasting and skipping meals, I would highly encourage you to find something in replacement of the meal to do. Journaling, walking, reading, something, taking a bath. So something that you're going to do to get your mind off of the eating, because it's more habitual than what we realize. Samir was talking about his diet of oats and having that constant insulin spike. But what I have found in years of my fasting journey is that the majority of my need to eat is psychological, just like quitting smoking.
Okay, I can see that.
When you smoke, which I used to smoke, and I quit cold turkey, you just have to replace that cigarette with something else. You have to, and it's the same with food. When you notice, and that's why I would encourage you to journal or do some reading, do some writing, do something where you're actually noticing what's coming up for you. Like, what are your drives for why you're eating?
Let me clear that up real quick. So you're saying when you get this you craving to eat, but you think it's psychological, right? You're not actually super hungry, that you should replace that with an enjoyable activity?
Absolutely. I would definitely,
I want to eat. I'm probably not hungry. I just ate an hour ago. I'm hungry. And do you want to keep it the same one? So it's almost like a Pavlov trigger, like, oh, I'm hungry. I'm psychologically hungry, which means I should go journal.
Right.
That's what you're
You
aiming
know,
for?
that's what I'm aiming for, just because
Okay.
I've noticed that most of the time, and we've already prefaced, like, fasting is not for people with eating disorders or
Right.
severely underweight. This is for people that probably have enough body fat to sustain them for a month, right? Or at least 2 or
We're
3
going to get
weeks.
to that on the next guest.
I can promise you, though, that you're not going to starve yourself to death literally by not eating for 24 hours.
Yeah, we're
Most
going
of
to talk
that's
to
going to be a psychological.
our next guest is on like a 40-day fast.
Awesome. Awesome.
We're
So most of
yeah.
it's psychological, that you find yourself needing, wanting to eat. And so my approach is the physical. Samir is interesting because he's like, the physical comes first. My approach is the opposite. I think the mental, emotional, spiritual nature controls the physical nature. And so if we don't get that insides right, then we're never going to get the outside right.
Okay. All right. I like that. I like that thought process too, you know. Psychological eating, I think, is definitely a pretty big factor in our society. And I love fucking food. It's so good. Okay.
You should
All right.
eat it.
Yeah. You should eat it not because it tastes good, right? You should eat it because you have to
Well,
have it.
I'm just saying, instead of fucking it, you should eat it.
Oh boy, we went extreme there. Dina, where on your life journey did you learn this information?
Well, just years of experience. I've been fasting since 2000, before there
Okay.
was a lot of information out there available through books and websites and information like that. I did not even consider accessing documents from 200 BC
Yeah.
on
Samir's a little,
fasting.
he's good at that kind of stuff. Awesome. All right, Dina, we're going to move on to our next guest and we'll bring you out for the round
Excellent.
robin. Thank you so much. Next up, we have a fascinating human specimen that is currently probably psychologically and physically hungry. Ben,
I'm
who are
so
you?
hungry. Hey, yes, I am so hungry right now. How are you doing, Austin? I see that you're enjoying. Is that sparkling water?
It's regular water in a
Ah,
classy glass.
I like it. It is very classy. Hi, everybody. My name is Ben. I'm a health insurance agent. I have been married to my wife just over 17 years. The beautiful Sherry
Nice.
Lee Terrell. She is older than me, yet looks younger. It's completely unfair, but she is beautiful, and I'm so glad to have her. I'm also an ex-cigarette smoker, an ex-tequila
Ooh.
drinker, an
Ooh.
ex-obese guy, and an ex-sugar addict. So I've beaten 3 addictions that I know of so far. I might have more. I just don't know what they are. But what I've found is exactly what our previous guest Dina has said. It's all up here. Learn to say no to yourself.
Is that your
That's
tip?
that's the biggest tip I can think of. Learn
Well,
to say
hold
no
on
to
a
yourself.
second. Let's clear this up.
Okay.
Ben, if I wanted to improve my physical health with fasting, what tiny piece of advice would you give me?
Say no to yourself. No matter what you want, just
All
say
right.
no. It's okay. Welcome hunger pains because hunger pains are your friend. That's also known as autophagy. That means your body is killing off all those old cells that aren't doing very good anymore, stuff that will later turn into a chronic illness. People think of cancer, stuff like that. If you kill off those cells with autophagy by not eating, well, you just don't have as many chronic issues in the future. Doctors, Western medicine, they won't talk about that. It's much more profitable, right? To just write a prescription for whatever symptoms you're experiencing, give that to you and keep you coming back for what they call a treatment plan. Being in health insurance, I've seen a lot of things. And one of the things I see is nobody getting cured, everybody getting treatment plans. Treatment plans have you coming back to the doctor over and over and over and over again. Cures keep you away from the doctor's office and you don't have to use your health insurance. So I teach people a little bit about that when they sign up with health insurance for me, just so they understand that there is a system in place to keep you paying and paying more all the time.
All right, couple questions, man. This episode I already know is going to go too long. You're in health insurance, so you know that they make more money on you not being healthy. Yet you're also a man that is sober, correct?
Correct.
Stops smoking cigarettes, doesn't like sugar, and fucking fasts more than anyone I've ever met. How does that work out with your business?
So the benefits of fasting are far outweigh the disadvantages. For one, it's cheap, and in this economy, who wants to spend money that you don't have
Wait.
to?
Apparently, according to Trump supporters, this economy is gonna snap, crackle, pop in 24 hours.
I think wishful thinking there. Hopefully, it does come back to levels it was before, but that's okay if it doesn't. I know how to save money on food, so I redirect mine. I redirect a little bit of my budget then to premium cigars and carbonated water like club soda, just so I don't feel like I'm as hungry. Those are good things to do. But yeah,
So
I mean,
carbonated soda, is that something that you use a lot, or carbonated
yeah,
soda water like LaCroix?
yeah. So,
So
but
you
no,
use
no,
that a
no, no
lot to drink,
flavors, no flavors. It is just water with carbonation. I add
like
a
Soda
lot of
Stream?
salt. Yeah, and you could do that if you wanted to. Yeah, if you want to make your
Okay.
own. I buy it from Walmart because it gets delivered. It's just easy. Soda Stream, you've got to find somebody who's going to refill your carbonation tank
Yeah, but
and do it
the
with.
tank lasts like 2 months.
Not with me. No, I
I,
go through
dude,
about a gallon of that stuff a day, plus
I
my
drink.
coffee.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. Soda Stream to me is simple as hell, and I live on a remote island that I may lose internet in the next 5 minutes.
So no, I understand that. In your case, I would definitely get a Soda Stream. I've had one before. I loved it. It just got to be too expensive. It's cheaper for me to buy stuff from Walmart because I've got a Walmart down the road. But to
You're
your point
out of
about
your
how does
mind.
this affect business, dude? My mind is so much clearer because I'm not throwing a bunch of poisonous food into my body all the time from Tyson and other huge manufacturers, ConAgra. They make so much of the food that fills up those Walmart freezers. And every single one of them, if you look through the ingredients list, like some of it's healthy, maybe. Some of it's not genetically modified, maybe. We don't know. We don't know what goes into that stuff.
Let's clear up for the audience exactly where you're at, what you're doing, and your relationship with fasting over the last, 6 months, 7 months?
Yeah, so starting in late June, I started fasting just because I couldn't get myself in ketosis. The keto diet's based on that. Carnivore is based on that. And I couldn't get myself in ketosis. I don't know what was wrong with me. So I thought, well, I've seen people fast. I've done intermittent fasting and just had one meal a day. That worked, but it worked slowly. So
I
wanted
remember
something.
when you were going through that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I stopped eating for 2 days and I felt so good. I thought, well, let me eat food for a couple of days first, and then I'll try it again for 3 days. Then I ate for 2 days. So on and so forth until my last fast I finished was 30 days. I'm in the middle of a 40-day fast right now. I've got 9 days left. November 15th, I come off that fast. I'll be traveling to Dallas. I simply do not want to end my fast on airplane food. So I'm going to find some barbecue somewhere in Texas when I land. And something good like that.
What day of the week is it?
That will be a Friday. November 15th is a Friday.
You got to go to Cadillac. That's the best barbecue in Dallas.
I will look it up. I've got
It's only open 2 days a week. It's so good.
So, and I've got Saturday, and then Sunday's my birthday. I'll be turning 46 years old, and that will be, by then I should be down officially about 150 pounds for the year.
150 pounds in 1 year. Wow.
Yeah, I'm
all
down
right, I think that's
right now.
that's a good leeway. Let's bring everyone back in. I think you and Samir have some things to say, and Dina's been fasting for 25 years, so let's bring everyone in and start taking some audience questions, as well as let's just have a nice little chat. Well, let's start it off with Samir. Please quickly refresh what your tip was for us.
Mine was take it nice and easy. Just skip a meal. Skip breakfast if you can. Skip dinner if you can. One or the other. Don't skip lunch. Skipping lunch doesn't really help you. But if you skip breakfast or dinner, you're going to be in that 16-8 mode. 16 hours of fasting, 8 hours of eating. Do that in the beginning. Do it 3-4 days a week. See how you feel. And then you can expand it from there.
All right. Dina, what are your thoughts on that tip?
Well, that was the tip I was going to give. So I think that's
agree.
pretty legit.
Right.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
All right,
I would.
Go ahead.
I already like Samir a lot. We had a few, just listening to him talk and the research he's done. But I say, listen to your body. Do whatever you think your body is best with, and go from there. That's what I think would work best.
And your body was whispering in your ear, "Don't eat for 40 days."
Dude, my body was saying, "You're fat. You need to fix this."
By the way, on the extended fasting thing, does anyone know what the record is? The documented record for the longest fast in the world?
Ooh,
That's a good question. I have no idea.
great question.
It's, if memory serves, it was somewhere around 380 days. But it was someone
Oh my
who,
God.
it was a case, 1920s, 1930s. I get the date wrong, but this was someone medically supervised, doing nothing. I think they gave him some vitamin pills though, but otherwise it was just water. And he was big, big guy, and he got down to a normal weight, and he never put it on. For the rest of his life, he never put that weight back on. Which is most people who lose that kind of weight through calorie restriction, especially, they're going to put it all back on plus some.
Yeah.
So
yeah. This is going to be a big part of my life from now on. I'll be switching to intermittent fasting once I reach my goal weight, eating a lot of protein, lifting a lot of weight. I've got, when you lose a lot of weight, you've got excess skin. Fill
That's
that
right.
out with muscle. That's what I want to do.
So do you find that you have a lot of excess skin, or do you find that, because generally I find that with fasting it's actually much less of a problem than with people who've done calorie restriction, or do you find that it actually still is a big problem?
Well, the problem was I got too big too fast, and my skin didn't stretch as it should. So stretch marks, those don't heal so fast. But I take a lot of, so I take supplements every day, and part of that is the collagen, and that should help firm things up as time goes by. But for the time being, the short term, even the long term, I do want to look stronger. So I'm going to lift weights and fill up the skin as much as I can with muscle, right?
Are you lifting weights right now, Ben?
I am not. It makes me too tired. Anything more than mowing the grass or walking for a mile or two is just it drains me.
Hard to do that with no energy.
Yeah.
All right, we've got a question for the audience. This should hopefully be a simple one, but I do want to hear some thoughts on fasting, water. How do you make sure you drink enough? Do you need to drink less? One of you tell me about water and fasting.
Lots of water, as much as you can possibly take. And if it gets to be too much, scale back a little bit. Put plenty of salt in it. You're going to be sweating out salt like crazy if you're not eating carbohydrates.
Well, also the electrolytes kind of get mixed up a little bit in your body. And so that's why you want to make sure you're drinking good water, not tap water typically, because it's like just continuing to put more toxins in your body while you're trying to detoxify the body. So electrolytes are super important. So like Ben was saying, salt is a good way to put the electrolytes in there.
Okay. Sodium is an important electrolyte, but it's not the only important electrolyte. So getting something, try different products, see what works for you. I don't really recommend the Himalayan salt anymore. It's got too much crap in it.
Yeah.
But try to find a product that works for you.
And what have you seen with Celtic salt? The gray Celtic salt is what I use right now.
It seems pretty good. Most people who use it like it, but I'm not. I'm someone who I work with a lot of clients, and we have to. There's a level of individuality that we have to account for. It doesn't suit everyone, but it suits a lot of people.
Very cool.
Yeah.
All right. On that topic, soda water, is that good for your health? And I also want to compare it to plain water, or I guess unbubbly water, like purified water. You send it through like a zero water system versus your soda stream, which is if adding bubbles is healthy. Tell me about that.
In this context, in the context of fasting, I'm not really sure it makes too much of a difference. It's not a huge amount of data I can pull on, but just from personal experience, I'd say it's almost as good or just as good. The thing that why people tend to, and Ben is doing it right now, so he'll correct me if I'm wrong, but why people tend to prefer soda water is just it's a different texture. It just gives you something a little bit different, right? This is why also people sometimes put lots of ice in there too. It just gives you a different mouthfeel. So, and when you're fasting for a long period of time, you want to change it up a little bit sometimes.
Yeah, variety is necessary, and it makes you feel a little fuller because as it fizzes up in your tummy, it makes it feel larger, right? So it does have a little bit of a benefit for that too.
All right, here's our next question. Go ahead, Dina. Go ahead.
I was just going to say I'd highly recommend doing hydrogen water,
nice.
Which is the new
trend.
Thing.
Do you have to buy that, or can you make that, or tell me more about hydrogen water?
Well, you do need to buy a molecular hydrogen device, one that's
Okay.
going to put hydrogen. I think they have tablets too that you can get, but definitely hydrogenating your water is going to be so much more beneficial for anything, whether you're fasting or not. Drinking hydrogen water is way more
Does
beneficial
that
for the
turn it
body.
into H3O?
I don't know. I don't think it actually turns into H3O. No, it just says it's actually just Samir. You probably have the knowledge.
Yeah, so this was something that was pioneered by, I don't know if he invented it, but this guy, Japanese guy whose name I'm blanking on, got the Nobel Prize 10 or 12 years ago. The one that was related to autophagy, actually. And this is the hydrogen water has been shown to do many things, but one of the things it does do is improve mitophagy, so a certain kind of autophagy, so mitochondrial autophagy. So the processes that Ben was talking about, this is something that can support that, according to a lot of data. I'll just add that where I live, it's not available, so I don't really have the option. Not so easy to get in South Africa, but if you can get it, it's great.
So, business opportunity for anyone watching that is in South Africa, needs hydrogen water. Go help Samir out. He's dying from being unhealthy right now until he gets his hydrogen water.
I don't know.
All right,
Samir, you can give me your address, Samir, and I'll ship you a bottle.
Oh, nice.
One bottle. All right, guys.
Well,
next question.
It's a device.
Oh, okay. Are there certain foods or nutrients I should focus on when I'm breaking a fast?
Oh, Samir has, I'm sure, a good answer for this one.
I'm happy to take it if you guys want. So I think there's two things to say. One is specifically to Ben, while you were talking and talking about going to Dallas and so on. If that first meal after a long fast in particular is too heavy or too rich in protein, we are going to run into problems. Okay, and they can be very serious problems. So I just want to say that first meal needs to be relatively small, also needs to be relatively nutrient dense. So what I like for nutrient dense foods, I like shellfish, I like egg yolks. I sometimes use milk things like yogurt and so on. Fermented milk products will be pretty good.
And microgreens.
Liver, not greens, nothing green. I'm not going to touch anything green. But bone broths, a bone broth will be a good thing in there. So those things, and then if you want to add some cooked vegetables, that's fine. Not raw vegetables, that could be fine too in that context. So that's your first meal. And then after that, you can let yourself go to town. But just be a little careful with that first meal after breaking it fast. This is not about daily fast. Daily fast, don't worry about it. Just have your regular lunch if you skip breakfast. But in an extended fast, especially when you get past like the 1 week mark, just be a little careful when you're doing that refeeding. There's something called refeeding syndrome. I work with clients who suffered from this. It's not pretty. You don't want to have it. Just take that first meal a little easy.
So far, it hasn't affected me too badly, but I do like to hit the sushi all-you-can-eat bar is the first thing that I do, and I stay away from the rice. But I think next time I'll probably take more rice just to kind of help things out a little bit.
Yeah, what I would tell you to do is, dude, just break your fast a couple hours before that at home with just whatever you want.
Yeah, probably soup. Yeah.
Yeah, even 3 or 4 hours before that all-you-can-eat sushi meal, you're going to be doing yourself a favor.
Okay, I got you. Thank you. Appreciate that.
One of the things that I've experienced, Ben, in 20 years of fasting is breaking fast like that too many times and having achieved really poor gut health because of it. Blocked up bowels, just lock up. And so it's really, really difficult. I totally agree with Samir in breaking that fast a whole lot easier than an all you can eat barbecue in Dallas. Like when you said that, I was like, oh no, because I remember breaking fast with steak and potatoes.
Oh yeah.
And just feeling miserable like within an hour or two because my body was not able to digest that.
Of the 4 or 5 times I've done it, I've felt great all but one time, and that was the last time. But I was catching COVID at the same time. Some reason I don't have the problem of food stopping. I have the food going too fast through me. So little tip for people, it's not fun to talk about, but I take a total throughout the day of my day that I'm breaking the fast, 6 Imodium AD pills. That slows down the motility of your intestines so they don't move things quite so quickly through. If you have that issue, that solves it. And don't take any more after that because you really don't want to be stopped up either.
So Ben, that's telling me that your digestion, I mean, this fast is helping you for sure. But that's telling me that you still have a way to go to get your digestion back up to where you
yes.
could be to refeed properly. So
Yeah.
again,
Right.
I would
Refeed
recommend
properly.
maybe in your case it's actually that first meal is a breakfast, and it's a very well planned meal that includes some fat and maybe some carbs and some protein, all three, but in small ratios. And then you go and hit the diner or whatever you're doing in the nighttime. And then I think you're only going to need 1 or 2 Imodiums and not 6. 6 is freaking me out a little. I think if you do this,
sounds
right,
terrible.
at least cut that out, cut the quantity down a little bit.
We're going to talk offline later. That's for sure.
Happy to.
Definitely connect. And also, don't forget your microgreens. All right, we have another question. This is our last one because this show's running long. Ben, are you aware of your blood sugar or thyroid levels? And do you get regular checkups when you're doing these long fasts?
I don't. I'm married to a nurse who absolutely will not let me do anything too crazy. You would think with 40-day fast, that's crazy. She's on me like white on rice. She's always careful about what I do and checking up on everything. We don't do labs. I listen to my body very closely. When I'm starting to feel different, I tell her about it. Here's my symptoms. We talk about it. And she usually tells me, helps me with my supplements, that type of thing. We get it all figured out. I stay healthy. I've never had really any serious health problems except obesity and, tequila a while back. So I'm doing pretty good now, I would say. Yeah. So far, no problems.
So, just to clarify, while you're doing a 40-day fast, you are taking supplements to get your nutrients.
Especially magnesium, potassium, collagen. If you visit my Facebook page, I will show you the list of videos I have that show what I take on a regular basis. So if anybody else in my position who started out obese and wants to not be obese 6 months later, I can show you how I've done it. That's not medical advice. It's just showing you how I've done it.
Unfortunately, our viewers said they can't join you because they don't have a nurse wife. And I'm telling them our last episode was on dating and love, so he's got to find the nurse wife first.
I can hook you up with a few.
There you go.
He's got friends.
Cool.
All right, guys, let's wrap this up. Let's do the best part of the show, our daily challenge. We have to come up with a task that helps us improve our physical health with fasting. It takes less than 5 minutes a day. It costs $0, and it's available to everyone from Daytona Beach to Daytona Beach. What thoughts do you guys have?
It sounded like in the go round we were getting close to. I mean, just making it simple. Just skip breakfast or skip dinner. One of those. Does that sound like a good plan?
Start with intermittent fasting, just like he said. That is, I think, the key to getting into this easily without, having to go full bore 40-day fast like crazy people over here.
Right.
So we can't eat till what, like 11 a.m.? Is that lunchtime?
Yeah,
noon?
I mean, if you eat between 11 a.m. and 7 p.m. for 3 days a week. What do you guys think? 3 days a week, 4 days a week? What's realistic for a newbie?
Yeah,
Well,
really, any day.
We got to
all
do
day.
something that takes about 5
7
minutes
days a
every
week.
day.
This doesn't take any time.
It doesn't
Right.
take any time.
Like 9 a.m. happens whether you're eating or not, man. There's nothing you can do about it.
Right.
Yeah,
So I think for the
just
whole
say
week,
no
we
for 5 minutes. Just say no to breakfast for 5 minutes and find something else to do. That's what I would say.
Okay.
Find something else to do for breakfast.
Beautiful.
I'm gonna one up that, Ben. Let's say if you have a schedule, it's gonna be tough because people might have work and they have to go eat before work. I was gonna say we could push it back an hour. I mean, you guys, if you're watching this, you're gonna have to solve your own problems and get rid of your own excuses. But for the purpose of our challenge, let's say if you normally eat around 8 or 9 a.m. or 7 a.m., we're gonna push it back a full hour. That you can go do another activity. You can push it back an hour, fight your hunger, and do something else.
So Austin, that's not going to work, man. Why doesn't that work? Because now you've just changed their breakfast time. You haven't.
Yeah.
Okay.
We want to make the lunch the breakfast.
Skip it altogether.
So the way the brain works, I don't know how much detail you guys want to get into this, but the way the brain works is you get hungry when you ate yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to be hungry at breakfast time. That hunger is going to pass in 20 minutes. Then they're not going to get hungry again till lunch. See what I'm saying?
Okay.
So just skip the breakfast. Go straight to lunch. So, eat at your lunchtime. Eat at your lunchtime. Don't eat at breakfast time.
All right. So skip breakfast for a week.
Yeah. Or
Fuck, I'm about to go on a cruise. God damn it.
hey, you don't. I mean, Yeah, you can do this the following week. You don't have to do it the coming week, man. Enjoy your freaking cruise.
This is how challenges are done, Samir. We do them when they come to us. We're trying to be
I
a
promise.
millionaire in physical health, okay? We got to face our challenges. And at least you didn't say copy Ben. That one.
Yeah. That is free, though. That is free. Yeah.
Did you see we have a comment that says that we should do a financial health fasting episode?
Oh, yeah.
How to save money, just stop eating.
Yeah. How to get those Havanas in the house, eh, Ben?
Yes, that's right. Yeah, get some good Cuban cigars in there instead. Now that will cost money, but and
Hey,
I
man,
wouldn't long term. But you know what?
40 days of food, man. You gotta treat yourself.
The next one we'll do is financial health, living in the dark, no utilities.
I think I got you. We got no water here in South Africa for 3 days. So we're on that one.
Wow.
That's a rough one. All right, so our challenge is going to be just skip breakfast for a week.
See how you feel.
All right, good luck, viewers. Good luck, me. It sounds like these three don't have a fucking problem with it, so that's great.
It's how I live my life.
Well,
so I got an advantage.
Austin, you might want to consider that breakfast time, getting out your journal and figuring out why it is that you feel so compelled to eat, because you
I'm
don't
going to have an angry journal entry.
The first couple days are angry. After that, it's like that's just how you don't get hungry anymore, right? You just
you're not. You bring it down pretty quickly.
It's not always hunger either. It's craving. No. It's craving for those carbohydrates and sugar. And that's the same craving I got when I quit cigarettes and quit alcohol. It is not hunger. Just remember, embrace that hunger, because your body is going to start going in ketosis, doing autophagy, and doing other things that are very good for you. Embrace that feeling.
Yeah, I mean, I've skipped breakfast often enough. I've done Ramadan. I'm not too worried. But I do want to eat on this cruise.
So I hear on cruises they actually have food between 12 p.m. and 7 p.m. too. That's what I hear.
I'm going to be on an island swimming, and I want to eat local food, but I'm just going to skip breakfast then. Or I'll skip dinner. Ooh, dinner might be a good one. I don't know. I'll figure it out.
It's up to you, but I'll just say that in everyone I worked with, this is one of those challenges that people think it's really challenging, and then when they come back and tell me how it was, they say, it was really easy.
Yeah.
So we could have given you much harder homework, Austin. Don't worry about that.
I love the three people that are like, this is just my normal day. Or like, hey, here's your challenge, assholes. Awesome. All right, guys. Well, we're gonna wrap up this episode. We've got our daily challenge. We came and did what we were paid to kind of do. Put you all backstage. I'm gonna wrap this up. Thank you so much.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for watching another episode of Millionaires Are Made. Our daily challenge is to skip breakfast for a week. So that means you have to eat at least after 11 a.m. in your time zone, wherever you normally eat lunch. And hopefully you guys learned a little something, improving your physical health with fasting. Fantastic. Lots of knowledge dropped. If you didn't get to see the whole episode, you might want to. There was a